Lightning.
Hello and welcome to the Kill Team Casuals. Like we've managed to get all of us out of the green room. It's always a bit of work to get us out of the green room and into the live stage. We're here. Thank you so much to everyone in the chat. Great to see you waiting patiently for us. We appreciate you as always as we take our time to get our stuff together. I'm joined today by the wonderful Ben from Battle Brothers Tabletop. Welcome, sir.
It's me. I'm here. Boy, it's been tough to wrangle us all together, but what a good time it is. Passing it over to my good bud Russ from GFN Gaming.
Thanking you very much. I was caught unawares. Reese, I'm loading up the Twitch so I can see the chat. Reese is here. Continue.
I am. Thank you so much for being aware that I'm here. Now, we're lucky enough to be joined today by a special guest. I would say we're probably a week too late, but as Ben said, it's hard to get everyone together all on the same time schedule. So we are joined, luckily, today by Matt, the winner of the Magnolia Open over in Florida, which, Ben, you obviously had a huge hand in bringing to life, a golden ticket event. Matt, thanks so much for joining us, mate.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. This has been great. And Ben ran an awesome tournament, so let's ready to deep dive into it.
I like that you said this has been great. There's still so much time for this to go awfully wrong.
It could go terribly wrong, yeah.
Well, the green room is pretty fun, so.
Awesome.
Yeah, man, so...
Ben, take us through a little bit of the Magnolia Open. Set the scene for us, because obviously you were the architect. So tell us a little bit about it. Yes.
There you go. So in your mind's eye, go with us to Florida. It is.
Sorry.
It is. Yeah.
So it was a crocodile attacked me.
Yeah. You're used to it. It's a beautiful 65 degrees out, uncharacteristically cool for us. It's a beautiful day. To us, that's a beautiful day. That's like perfect weather, man. So 65 degrees. All your best friends in the world that play Kill Team are here under one roof at Warpfire Minis, the single greatest Warhammer store in all of the world. And I'm not just saying that. I think I believe it. I haven't been to one that beats us. Anyways,
so you're there. The show now, right, Ben? That's right. That's what you're going to announce today.
Yeah, this show is brought to you by.
This is almost a staff show now.
Yeah, officially.
This show is now half Warpfire. Yeah. And so and by the way, when you come to our tournaments, I don't know how it is for you guys, in where you guys are at, but is there much table space at the tournaments you go to?
No, it is definitely a bugbear that a lot of the time, it's definitely not.
When you get one of those big table spaces, it's a heavenly moment. It's very nice.
Yeah, here in the States, usually it's dog crap. It's awful. Like you have to put your stuff on a chair. At Warpfire, what we do is everybody plays a Kill Team game. We have a Kill Team mat, but it's on a 40K size table. So we have 20 of those, and so just plenty of space to put all your legs, get comfy, stretch the legs, get comfy, free lunch. Anyways, Matt won this year's golden ticket at Magnolia with the insanely. So I didn't realize how good they were. Not taking away from Matt's ability to win, but Void Dancers. And here's the 411 on the tournament is that Matt came in. Matt basically hasn't played this edition at all. Like truly hasn't played. I have been bummed because I call a lot of people good buds that come on the show. Matt truly is one of my IRL really good buds. And he hasn't played this edition hardly at all. So I lost my main practice partner because he's been playing Old World. And so it is pretty fun. And then Matt comes in and I'm watching, and Jimmy Kelly's here. We got all the Florida hitters. Tomas is in from New York. Landon's here, a bunch of really good players. And I'm watching Matt go undefeated. At the end of day one, he's undefeated. I'm like, whoa, man, this is crazy. It's well, man, day two is probably gonna get him, but man,
I drove in Sunday and was like, oh man, I went undefeated. Well, that was fun. Now I'm just gonna get my butt kicked.
You're at the top table the shark tank then after that, isn't it? There's no submarine when you go straight.
No submarine when you start winning. Yeah.
It's like a hot win path. And so he goes on to go undefeated, takes a golden ticket home. It was a beautiful thing. Matt, were there any standout moments for you? What was the hardest matchup or the funnest game? Any standout moments for you?
Well, day one I went into 3 Angels of Death, so all out open. So that's for Void Dangers, I'm squishy, 8 wounds. I have a 4-up save. I ignore piercing, I got one trick. I can charge, hit you with a crit because I'm running blades, and then I can fall back for free, and then I shoot you in the face with the melted pistol. I can guarantee kill one Marine, and then that guy dies. Because like that's my one trick. But it was just planting my secondaries, just going and getting that, take that as my primary. Andy was another local who was awesome. I don't know how much he's played, but he was running Angels of Death. I played him round 3 on day 1, and we end up tying. And it was like we weren't even keeping track of score. It was so close. So that was like a standout moment, whereas like I think it came down to me killing his leader and getting onto his side of the board and denying one tac op or something like that. And then day 2, it was just the day of Segarat's Jest. I mean, one CP, I'm spamming this thing. I go into Phobos, into the dark, and then let's see. Round 5 was Felgor, and man, did Segarat's Jest save my butt. I even took mines. Like I was like, I think this is a stupid choice, but I'm on open. I'm just gonna put this in like the halfway point, like kind of somewhere in a choke point, make him come to me. Eric, who I was playing, a good buddy, he is disgusting with this Felgor. Beats me up all the time. Yeah, beats me up all the time. So I just said, I'm just gonna make him come to me. He starts charging. I think there's a crucial point where my leader was wounded, and he charged in, didn't get any crits, and so he had to hit me for a regular. I Segarat's Jest him and ended up killing him, and was just kind of that's how the game went, where it was just he couldn't get any crits to like finish off an elf, and I was just parrying and then ended up killing, and then. Round 6 was Into the Dark against Mandrakes. I don't know what they do. I played them a little bit. Yeah, a little bit last edition, but called a buddy, gave me some advice. It was like, watch all the corners because they're just going to pop up everywhere. They're going to be shooting you. They're going to have their fight first up. And Landon is such a good player. I think he took down Cherokee Open.
Yeah, he won Cherokee Open the previous weekend. So he was coming hot off of a golden ticket, trying to go back-to-back weekend wins.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, I got this far. Like, it's fine. I
had a good run.
I was like, you know what, dude? At least you got here, dude. Like, look at you. At least you got here. Like, that was my friendly advice.
Yeah. So
even Ben had written you off. I love it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people did. I did too. So,
dude, before you keep going, I do got to share. Yeah, all the Florida guys, like, because you know when you see the tournament stats, everybody's trying to figure out, okay, well, if he beats him and he beats him, the golden ticket goes to XYZ. So everybody's trying to do these calculations because Jesh was in the running for the ticket, Tomas was in the running for the golden ticket, Matt, and so each time they would do the different calculations, they're all going, okay, when Matt loses to Landon, it'll drop down and go to, it's like, okay, if Tomas wins, but when Landon, it's everybody kept intentionally like, when Matt loses, and it's just insane.
Yep, and once again in that matchup, I think I knew about the Choose of the Flesh, stay away from him. We just kind of had one side room that we're playing chicken in. I don't even know what mission we were playing. And I was just trying to drop some secondary tokens, and he comes swinging in with that Choose of the Flesh, and Segarat's Jest went off again. I think I got it off at least 3 times, and I have to roll a 1 or a 2. I have to roll under my opponent's weapon skill. So his guy comes in, he's got a power sword, and then I just parry, crit, he hits me once, and then I just hit him again, kill him. So a lot of weird trades that swung the game, and then I think I just ended up just trying to avoid him and then going to tapping a point and planting my beacons, and I think I got it luckily by 1 point, but it was a really, really, really close game and a lot of fun.
You've mentioned it a few times, but so do you always go plant beacons kind of regardless, and that's your game plan, or do you change your tac op depending on opponents?
No, I normally go plant beacons. Opponent can't stop me.
So maneuverable. Yeah.
I have 10 inches of movement, so
Kind of makes sense.
so I can kind of get anywhere. I treat all climbing as one, but I have to pay for the drop. I wish we could fly like the old days, but
What's kind of
no
good
one
about
else
that-
does.
Yeah.
No one else
yeah,
does.
yeah.
What's
So,
kind of interesting about them and plant beacons is that if you the keyword if you fly and when you move you can't plant a beacon.
Yeah.
So like that's what hurts the Vespids.
Vespids.
So it's kind of sneaky good for Harlequins because you're not actually flying.
Yeah.
So you can get the crazy
Faux
movement and
flying.
still get it off. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Faux flying.
so I always take plant beacons. And I mean, what else? Round one, I'll pay for this like move and be able to shoot during a reposition action, just for my Death Jester. Last edition, he was so unreliable, couldn't kill anything. But now that they give us the allocades and he can reroll one on shooting, so that just helps him be more reliable. Than the next guy I give it to is my Melta pistol. So I'm always getting at least a couple good hits with them. And that's how I've been able to delete all the Marines.
Because that's simple. They changed the Sadath a lot from what it was originally to now in this new edition. It's a much more sort of simplified system.
Very, very simple. Yeah.
Learn to stack it through your order of operations with your units to make that it feels more like a team benefit as well.
Yeah, and the other one you can take is reroll. You get reroll a hit in close combat, but with 5 attacks hitting on 3s, you almost don't need it. I always take blades on everyone, so severe. I can always come in there with a crit and just at least drop them, 9 damage.
Yep.
So
very
it's
nice.
Yeah, and it's an interesting approach too. Is what I really like. A pretty simple sort of. It's like again, always running blades, always planting beacons, and then just focusing on. What it allows you to do is focus on gameplay. I was just having a conversation with a Florida player that I think sometimes gets too lost in the sauce with like they really like teams like scouts and teams like things that have turn 1 deployable things and like have all this moving pieces. Like I think it would be good for you to play a team that we're just like boom, this is my team.
A little bit more on rails.
And now I get to play the game because I think some people get lost in the sauce with rattlings, putting everything down in just the right spot. Yeah. But it's like, man, these are my tools. I'm good at using my tools. There's something just really beautifully simple about that allows you to play the game. I think in maybe smarter ways, smarter, not harder.
Especially just 2 days.
Yeah, and not playing the game for a bit. I just need to focus on just like a couple things and just execute those. I did well or poorly sometimes, but they have a lot of movement, so they can be very aggressive. But I'm not a very aggressive player, so I will almost unless it's into Space Marines. But like against the Felgor, I think even to the Mandrakes, I was just let you come to me, and then I'm just gonna try to zip around you so I can go plant a beacon. If I'm playing against Marines, I'm always trying to get that initiative just so my guy with the melta gun can just go out and get a Marine. Or I can if I don't, I'm just gonna be like, well, I'm just gonna throw this guy over there. He's a throwaway model, just a regular guy with a blade. He's just gonna plant beacon. He's just use his life for a point, essentially.
I think there's definitely a little bit of a shift now, isn't it, in the new edition too? Like because they've now added in the ability to get points from kills, it's changed a lot of people's mindset that's still, but it's like still fundamentally the point. If you can play to your team's strength, not lose your models, because of course when you're getting involved in fights, you lose models, so you're giving them points. So yeah, playing your secondary, playing the primary, and making sure that you're only trading for points is we can still get caught up in the bloodlust. That's for sure. And the new edition encourages a little bit more because it makes you think there's a big reward for it as well.
Yeah. And the Harlequin's worst nightmare is just a regular bolter. I mean, a regular bolter will just pick one guy up and then he can shoot somebody else. But I got so ridiculously lucky on a lot of saves. So I think round 1, he comes charging around the corner with one of the Space Marines, bolters my Death Jester, saves him. Just like that guy should be dead. But just making all the saves and then letting him just like shoot and then reposition away really, really helps. So
It's that funny thing of 4-up saves too, like in any, whether it's 40k, kill team, so many games, the 50-50 save, when your dice are on, your dice are on, and you don't argue, you don't question. You just enjoy those 4-ups and you go, "Ah, I'm having a good day today."
Yeah, I'd rather be lucky than good.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So was this heading in? Obviously, you said yes, it had a bit of a break. Was the reason you chose the Harlequins as well because you were like, I feel like I can pilot them pretty easily. I can structure them to have a certain play style. What made you choose them over? Whereas now so many revamped teams in the new edition as well.
Well, I played them. I played them the beginning of last edition because I'm not a nice person, and they're fun. I didn't do well with them, but I have them painted up. They're ready to go. I know their rules. They haven't changed a lot. Their play style is pretty much the same. Um, and I'd taken them earlier in the year to Daytona, and I think I went 2-2. I went up against. I think I ended up losing against Felgor and then losing against Legionaries. So some big heavy hitting teams, but flying around. And I think I was changing my tack op quite a bit. So I was flip flopping around and not just scoring the right points. So, um, uh, and there aren't really any teams that I think I own aside from Angels of Death that are decent. Or like I've breachers, but man, please GW fix them. Like they're one trick pony. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody out there that can pilot them better than I can. But I mean, I go out there.
Not that we've heard of. No, not that.
No.
Like activate 2 guys, they go kill something or 2 things, and they die, and then my trick's over. So yeah.
That's yeah. So it's interesting. I still love that especially now that the new balanced data slate sort of dropped as well. We're seeing still like teams are surprising. Was anyone? Obviously, you said you ran a lot of Angels of Death. Was any other surprise teams you saw, even if you didn't play them, but you were like, oh, I haven't seen them hit the table for a while?
Surprise team for me was Phobos. I haven't played them this edition, I believe, but
they're so good. Oh my god, they got so much better.
Yeah.
They're so good.
So going into day 2, I knew I was going to match up in Phobos. So once again, I rang up my buddy Jason and was like, what's the deal with them? So he starts listing off all this stuff. I'm like, all right, well, I don't know what any of that does, but they sound like they're like Harlequins. Like they can just come into combat and just hit you with 2 attacks. Like that's ridiculous. They have the 7-inch move. They can fly all over the place. I think maybe the only thing that saved me was that it was into the dark and he couldn't use his bolters as effectively. So.
Yeah, they've definitely seen a big glow up, the Phobos, with the changes to the other elite teams. Then they kind of didn't cop any negatives, so they kind of starting to shine now, which is really cool to see.
And then what's it called when they delay your action?
Omni Scramble. It's wicked. Like up to 3 of your act. Like, oh my! I played against him the other day as Nemesis Claw. It was Eric, and Eric spanked me on one of his ITD maps. And it was like, well, okay, I have 2 models that can activate. Like I have 2 model stages for threats. Okay, my Skin Thief gets Omni Scrambled for 3 of my activations, and he won initiative, so he kills my Screecher, and it's like, well, I guess I lose. I guess there's nothing to do here. It's like a better Vox Scream. Omni Scramble is so good.
Yeah, and the advice I got was, if you're going to go into them, just threaten them all over. Make them pick pick your poison. Who's going to jump on you and kill your Space Marine? So I kind of was doing that. And it was turning point 2. I won initiative, and we were kind of in this big corridor, facing each other off, just looking at each other over this point. And I won initiative, and it was either I could go tap the point and plant a beacon and just get 2 points, or I could go kill a Space Marine. And I said, well, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't have that many reps, so I just said, well, I think killing's fun, so I'll go do that. And I like right off the bat, there's an elf in his backfield, and he's down a guy. So now he has to go deal with that one. So other than that, like they seem really fun. I want to play them, but them leaving in August is big.
Yeah, it was August of that the year up. Yeah,
we're literally talking about it. Just we joined by you, and we were saying the same thing. It's a bit like we were looking at those classified year 1 teams. It said, it's coming up quick, and it's going to be interesting to see how the different communities play with which teams are still going to be allowed in tournaments or playing, valid teams. It's going to be very, very interesting. I reckon there'll be a bit of confusion amongst things early on when it's like when you've got to start looking at the different teams or who's allowing what. That's for sure.
I mean, there's so many teams out there,
right?
I mean, it's so hard. It's so hard for a new player to come in and be like, okay, here's this team, and then these guys do this thing. It's like there's so many different rules, and it's hard for me to keep track of. It might be a bit
controversial, but I'm a bit of a fan of it. Like, I know there'll be people who will be upset that they're gonna have their darlings killed and they're gonna lose some teams. But it's like, it's the same thing. The game's got to keep evolving and keep changing. And at least, unlike 40K, where if it's like if your Space Marine team disappeared, that's a bigger thing because you've invested thousands and thousands of dollars and time and hours. A team, if you get 4 or 5 years out of that team, I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
To then go, let's try something new. I get that it still sucks. I'm not saying it doesn't suck, but I don't think it's unreasonable.
I think it's necessary on some level. Yeah, it has to happen because, like, do you want to play a game where there's 72 different teams, where 36 of them are competitively viable and you know all the rules? Like, I don't. The only bummer for me is that a noob coming in could buy Vet Guard not knowing.
Oh,
then that to me
should be like a timer on the box somehow. I'd
watch Russ selling his secondhand teams as well. Cheap prices, clearance.
Not doing
prices.
eBay again.
Yeah. Selling those teams quick to move, and then oh, sorry, no, you can't use them anymore.
You know what? I've got Kazakin on eBay at the moment. They're not going out though, are they?
No, there's 2.
That's
I think
okay.
there's you classified year 2.
Yeah, you got another year. Yeah.
I just realized I'm when your storage I'm running out of those really useful boxes. Yeah. So I'm just like, I can either buy more or sell and then replace. And I'm thinking sell and replace seems a little bit more viable.
Yeah.
It was a good point you made though, Matt, as well. You were saying like, for a new player especially, there is a daunting amount of teams. Like, you come in at the moment and what is it? Has it 30 odd plus teams? Like, it's
30 plus teams is nuts.
Yeah, that's a lot. And to balance that across the things so they're all worth looking or playing, that's a lot of work. So I think, I want to keep seeing new teams. That's one of my favorite parts is I just get excited seeing the new teams coming in as well. Never getting to play them, forgetting to play other old teams. I don't get around to every team anyway. So
I think that's it, isn't it?
Thoughts on the new ones? Those guys look so rad.
Man, dude, Coremongers. I imagine they will be my new main squeeze, but we'll have to see. You know what I mean? Let's see.
Aesthetically, love the box set.
The preacher models look amazing. Yeah, those models look amazing.
Just want to know what they actually do.
Once Harlequins go away, I think I'm gonna dabble a bit into Blades of Cain.
Nice.
I guess some more elf BS and
3 APL elves.
Yeah, I want
move
3
away
APL.
from that. Yeah, it's hard to go back. Semi-horde 3 APL. That's your wheelhouse, it seems.
They function a lot like Harlequins. They can do a lot of the different tricks. So
very tricksy, yeah.
Yeah, very, very tricksy. Hard, so it's gonna take me a while to learn them. So get ready, Ben.
Yeah. Well, you're dumb. I'll have plenty of time. So.
Well, Russ, your latest battle report out now on GFN Gaming YouTube. Actually, Stars said Void Dancers. This was not planned. How did that experience go?
Well, I mean, to be fair, Connor's a great player. I think he's I'm going to blow him up now because it makes me feel better. But Connor he's won a bunch of, he comes like top 3, top 5 in most of the tournaments he goes to now. And I think he's like global number 9 with Void Dancers or something like that. So I don't feel too bad. And it was after a really long period of not playing. But it was, it's a team. I've realized that if you don't know what they do and you go into them, it's a real hard, because it's quite it's kind of this is the thing that I don't like about competitive play, is that it's sort of, you have to know every team in order to play into them. I don't know, you mentioned it a bit, Matt, like being like, I don't know what Phobos do, call a mate and be like, what do I need to look out for? And like, that's a great way to do it, because you go in a team and you're like, I have no idea what they do. Yeah, I got no one. It's because they meet me and then they're like, nah, we're good. But yeah, it's hard to be like, can you, because you try and be nice and like, okay, tell me about your team, and they go, cool, this is what it is. But they have so many like so many words to describe their team. They're like, okay, so the active allegory is this, and I'm just like, oh god, the headache comes, and I'm just like, okay, and then I choose a lead player, and I just get PTSD from the old edition where it took like 20 minutes to be told what the Harlequins do. And they were like, it's a lot easier now, and I'm like, it is easier now. They basically get balanced, but it used to be so ridiculous, and there's so many big words, and I was just sort of like, it's just a rough team to not know what they do. But having played them now, they seem so good. Like all the little, like their individual warrior rules seems great, that they can have just basically one of the strat ploys kind of for free, and they've got like great agility. They can go in, hit, move away, go in. Like you say, the Segarat's Jest can just be insanely swingy, which is great. I love a rule that's chaotic. It's fun.
A friend that swears that it never works for him.
Yeah,
it's like it's a waste of CP. I was like, it saved my butt many times. But with the Void Dancers, I'll go off a lot, and when I'm starting to play something that says, I don't know what this team does, I'll just explain, all right, here are the feels bads, here's the gotchas.
Yeah.
Like I used to play Star Striders. That was a feel bad team. Like, and you would have to spend 20 minutes and explain every single thing. Okay, this laser beam does this, and this laser beam does that, and it has 3-inch blast and this blast, and so
laser beam for every situation is fantastic about them. That's for sure. I
will miss my Star Striders as well. They were a lot of fun, but.
Are they going in August as well? I can't remember if they were one of those teams. Wyrmblade's going as well. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I like stuff.
Yeah, lots of great bread and butter teams. Yeah.
So the ones that are going, here we go: Commandos, Deathcore, Novitiates, Pathfinders, Legionaries, Corsairs, Blooded, Phobos, Void Dancers, Warp Coven, Wyrmblade, Hunter Clade,
Warp Coven are going.
And the Star Striders. So there's some I'm happy to see go, but there's definitely some like I'm sad.
Yeah,
get out of my face, Gellerpox. I've never had. Actually, I'll take this back. I've had one fun game playing against Gellerpox, and it was Matt's first time playing Gellerpox, and that was the only good time I've ever had playing against him. One, because Matt is a very fun opponent, and two, it was just a bloodbath. That was the only fun time I've ever had playing against him. Every other time has been a nightmare. Whether you win or lose, it just sucks.
Sandy just said in the chat, how many teams would be left? Don't worry, Sandy, still a shit ton.
Is it like
more than you think?
It's still going to be like 20 plus teams, isn't there?
I think
depends on how many get released before then. How many are going to get released as well? So it'll be probably back to 30 by the time they get done.
There's 20 teams just then in the year 1 and 2 classified. That next wave, that's another 20
not
teams.
Not counting,
So not counting the teams that aren't then in the classifieds. That's still it is a lot of teams when you think about it.
It's good overall for the life of the game.
Yeah. I mean, Matt's actually, Samoan Matt, sorry, I should say, in the comments just asked the question, anyone know if their local scene is going to stick to classified? Because that is, imagine a scenario if someone's running a non-classified and you can have the choice of 40 plus teams. Like, that is going to be... I wouldn't say, I wouldn't want to, I can understand people being like, I want to keep unclassified so I can keep my team and run them. But man, having to keep au fait with the rules of 40 plus teams to go to a tournament just so you don't get surprised by, I don't know, Novitiate's blinding faith or whatever that annoying one is, where they're like, no, you got to be within 2 inches. I mean, that's going to be annoying. I'm just lazy. I think I'm just lazy. I don't want to have to read too many things. I'm just like, I don't want to have to read so many rules to know. I do think people should come with like the gotchas and the feel bads prepared. That's what I tend to do when they're like, I don't know your team, and I'm like, okay, here's the things that will help me win the game. And they're like, cool. And then you subsequently lose the game. You're like, should have lied a little bit. Should have kept one behind. But yeah, I think people should come with that, like with a little printout. Here's my. I had a game where someone was playing Corsairs in the new edition. I think it was the first time I played them, and he had a printout with all his field bads, and he was like, "Oh, that's pretty much my team," and it was really good. It was really useful. It was like, don't come within. I can't remember, like 2 inches of because I can charge, and it's like, damn, that's terrible. You shouldn't have told me. This is great, but it was such a good play. I was just like, he was like my
here's
immediate
how you can
vote.
Beat me.
Yeah,
here's how to beat me.
Also, here's personal traits that I have. Yeah.
We didn't discuss it a little while ago, and we won't dredge it up, but there was a little bit of that with some of the tournaments and stuff about that the gotcha moments and the feel bads inherent within, because there are so many teams and lists and things that you can and can't know. It's such a tough one because you do want to like make sure that your opponent has a fun game, but then sometimes the gotcha is a part of your rule. Like, you know, like it's like, don't do, if you tell your opponent, don't do this because I'll do this, it's like, but isn't that part of how you might win the game? Like, it's such I love the idea of giving my opponent a cheat sheet, but as you said, really Ben, it's like, are you giving them the cheat sheet that just says, this is how you beat me?
Well, I love it when you ask.
Wife, whisper it.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that when you say, "Do you know the team?" and they go, "Yeah, I know them pretty well." And you're like, "So you don't need me to tell you about the team?" And they're like, "No," and it's like, "Yes,
yeah,
some gotchas in there." You gave me a green card. You gave me a pass on the dirtiest play I'm going to play this entire tournament. Thank you, pal. Yeah. Like
those gotchas are hard to navigate because I know we have stuff to talk about, but because there's some rules that inherently are gotchas, right? Like that's what they're made for. There was. Yeah, so like for example, there's a moment in one of Matt's games where there was like sort of a hairy Overwatch call, or not Overwatch now, was it called Guard? Yeah. So it was a call, it's like, and Matt is a gracious opponent that lets people sort of, you know, and Matt really is being the most gracious opponent I've ever played. Matt, at Nova, Matt is like, he's like doing okay, he's like 3-1, and going into one of his last games, he's playing someone who's very new at the game, and he coached them on how to beat him. He was like, "No, you should do this and this," and he loses that game at a tournament. So he's very gracious. But yeah, there's some of these. Sorry, my kid has infiltrated the room. She's planting beacons in the record session right now. Anyways, and so there's a moment where it's like, well, you actually can't reposition because like you couldn't see them when the guard procced, and actually like, and so there's these certain moments where it's hard to go back because the nature of a rule is a gotcha. Yeah. So sometimes it's hard to navigate that, and you just sort of have to. It's always best to call a TO over in those moments.
Yeah. You want the game to be fun, and that's it. I think it's when it's those ones where you clearly, as Russ was saying, when the person sort of said, "Look, I don't really know your team. I think it's good to give some guidance and tips."
You have to give it then,
yeah, you have to. But if
plus, there's a good chance they'll forget.
Yes.
And then you can be like, "Well, I did tell you." Then you look like a hero. It's like, "I tell you, you forgot, and then I did it." I was banking on you forgetting, so you know.
That's
the best way. Russ. Yeah, it's a good guy, Russ. Yeah, good. What was it? Great guy, shit bloke, or whatever. Yeah,
friend, shit guy. Yeah,
good man.
The best. I've mentioned it before, but whenever this comes up, I have to mention it. I played Felgor. I was like very new into Felgor at the time, and this guy was giving me sort of the feels bads, and then I went to make a move, and he was like, "I probably won't remind you again. This is probably the last time, but just remember that I can go the extra inch." And I thought that's a really awesome like way to walk the line. Like, hey, this is probably your last reminder that don't be a dingus. Yeah.
We joke, but that is how I tend to play if they don't know the team and it's a new player. Be like, do the beginning bit, and then as they do something, say, just so you know, last time I mentioned it, but he can do this. But yeah,
each turn I will become more of a dick. Turn one, really nice.
Basically,
I'm so open with my rules.
This is how it goes. This is nice guy, and this is dick. You get one turn, and then it goes straight to the dick. So
gets to crunch
be careful.
Time.
Take advantage. If you start winning, it goes like that straight away. Just so you know, as soon as you start winning, I'm bang straight. Matt,
that's your chart looks a bit different. That's where you went wrong coaching that person to the win. It's like first,
just like straight.
Well, my biggest problem was the game before that one. I was doing the same thing. The guy was newer, and I started coaching him and helping him out and giving him some little leeway. And then I realized turn 3, I was like, oh man, I could lose this. And so I had to like scrape it back. Like I took my foot off the gas, and so then I had to really apply it on. And then that game was just, he goes, oh well, this is my tack up, and I could score this, and that puts me up by 1. I go, oh, yep, didn't calculate that one. It's your game. But it was very, very fun opponent. So yeah, that was up at Nova. So hopefully we can go back up this fall. That was a blast.
So this was obviously a gold ticket event.
A big event as well. Big event for Florida.
What are the other 40. ones? Ben, looking ahead, you've obviously now got a golden ticket training partner in Matt, who's going to be coaching you.
I know. I'm happy.
What does the road to Worlds look like in the States for you now, Ben? What other events have you got coming up?
Well, Matt and I might bounce off to Dallas, Texas, in a couple months. We're thinking about that, sort of flirting with that. There is Nova later in the year, but with a new family edition on the way, Nova might be out. It's going to be close for me. Crucible is one that we have later in the year as well, about a month after new baby comes. So like that, Anne's a champ. She's a champ. She might, let me, depending on how helpful I am. We'll see. But it might be too close as well. But in July, we have another one at Warp Fire that we have golden tickets for.
Nice.
And so that'll be the Kill Team Florida Open, or the KTFO. So now that Matt, normally I TO that, but now that Matt, a fellow Warp Fire employee, has a golden ticket, Matt can run that, and I can go for the throat now.
Go for that gold.
Don't forget, we have Adepticon as well. So
we do have Adepticon, which there's no way I'm getting it there. Like
16 days away.
Yeah.
Only
It's just
16 days.
oh my
I
god.
think so. Yeah.
Holy gosh. I don't even know what team I'm playing. God, I'm just gonna. Yeah. Cool. Great. Yeah. So I definitely will be winning that one. Yeah.
How many people at Adepticon? That'd be a big one, presumably.
I think like 1 billion, probably.
Yeah.
That sounds
think
legit.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably like 80 or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. But Shane's going. I'm playing doubles with Shane. So like Shane will likely win Adepticon, with like he did last year. I'm assuming. So all I have to do is take second place. He's already got his ticket. So
He's already got his
easy.
ticket,
Ben, you are now just
easy
looking
money.
at tournaments you can go to and gun for second or third and just get the trickle down effect. That's
Yeah.
I'm going to go to
Yeah.
like 2 tournaments and hope for like a trickle down effect of about 80 spots. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Well,
I was gonna say, I know
Florida is just so stacked full of like good players. It like I felt like I won on a lot of dumb luck, but like a lot of people are going for those golden tickets.
It's gonna be
And
tough
so-
for me this year. It's
Yeah.
gonna be tough for me.
Yeah.
And I can feel like the skill gap. Like, not that I've ever been like a master player or something, but I can feel the skill, because these guys are like grinding TTS. Like the skill gap is like, these guys are getting like 4 or 5 games in a week on TTS.
Oof.
Like
Yeah.
I'm getting a game or 2 every 2 weeks, something, maybe 3. Like, and so like the skill gap, and also with the new edition, a lot of these guys are newer, and I think coming on in the new edition is actually a good thing if you want to be competitive.
Sometimes.
Because there's none of the old edition to clog you down, and I feel like something that I struggle with is sort of burdening myself. This is sounding very romantic for a stupid game, but like burdened by what has been, whatever that quote was from the politics. But like the last edition is sort of stuck in my head still, and so it's hard to break free from that. But yeah, like just these guys are so good. We got so many excellent players. Whereas Florida originally was like a dead zone for Kill Team. Now it's this cool little hub, dude. It's pretty fun. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
TTS seems to be such a game changer too, doesn't it? In terms of learning the game, getting the reps in. Like we know the guys over at Command Point do lots of TTS sort of tournaments and stuff like that. Like it is actually a great thing, because it's true. It's not always possible to get the reps in. Like to expect someone to play a game a week or something. It's quite hard to get your stuff together. I mean, you guys are lucky at Warp Fire a lot of the time. At least you're surrounded by lots of like-minded people. But for a lot of people, that's hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and like some of these guys, we have. I think one guy is getting like 2 games in a day sometimes. I think it's Vaughn.
They're on there all
Vaughn
the
is just
time.
grinding. It's nuts, dude. And so like they're going for it. So like to get a golden ticket in Florida this year, it's going to be difficult. It was difficult last time. It's going to be even harder now. So
We just started a TTS league. I think pairings went up yesterday or just this past week.
oh yeah, Eric's running the TTS league. Yeah, shout out to Show You Ads in the chat. Say it's Eric.
Oh, was that showing ads?
Yeah.
Matt, have you played much TTS yourself? Have you had much of an opportunity to have a bit of a muck around with it?
No, I haven't played. I can barely get dressed in the morning, so working a computer is quite hard. So
Real
no,
life
I haven't yet. I'm playing real life.
Yeah, because the only reason I was going to ask is obviously Ben and Russ, we've played a few games here and there against each other too. It is funny though, like how it's the same game, but something about losing that
it's so different.
tactile nature
Yeah.
of
For me.
being able to pick up your models and physically measure. It's the same game, but it still does feel different. I can see that like not everything translates as well, that's for sure.
I just already know my brain would be disconnected from it, and I'd be too distracted.
I think that's it. I think it is the
I'm with you.
disconnect. You're not there physically face to face with the opponent. You're not having a chat. You're not. I think that's what it is. The human element of the game is kind of a little bit gone. Yeah. Plus, I have to play Reese, and it's just sort of like,
Oh
hate
god.
that guy.
It's a long time to be
that
trapped
guy.
on a voice chat.
Kind
with
of
me.
life.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Oh,
Man, shit friend and a shit bloke. That one.
he's the devil.
Yeah.
The very devil. Oh, jeez. I still don't understand the game either. Terrible to play against. I don't know the rules. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Now I lost my train of thought now. My feelings are hurt now. I don't know what to do. Jim Crimmins, there you go. He's putting it away. No immersion factor on TTS. That's a good way to word. I like that. No immersion factor. Just want to do a big shout out to, I'm going to say this definitely wrong, Jenna Taos. Jenna Taos.
Reese, what are you saying?
No, stop it. First time chatter, but also
Jenna
subscribe
Taos.
to the show as well. So thank you so much. I did see that.
07's for you,
07 in the
Mr.
chat.
G.
To you. Thank you so much, Mr. G. Is what we'll go, or just G for those around the traps.
G,
thank you for joining in and joining in the chat as well. Loved having everyone joining in there as well. So, Matt, have you got any future predictions? Because we always like to hypothesize and guess what the next box set's going to be or what the next sort of thing is. Obviously, now we've seen the next two teams. Any idea where we're going in the future with this edition? Any hypothesis?
I was thinking for a little bit that maybe this is the last box we're going to get for a bit. But with all the other teams leaving, that can't be possible. Because we're just going to have just such a dead zone. So what have any other rumors come out? I mean, the last thing that we heard was like
Grey
Demons
Knights
versus Grey Knights.
Grey Knights and Demons, yeah.
Here we are.
Everybody was so shocked. Yeah.
And that
I really think, I don't know what you guys have noticed.
He's usually pretty keyed on, so that was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah,
that one was wrong. I was like, I thought he was onto something.
Yeah, I think, I don't know what you guys have noticed, but I've seen a lot of people bummed about the box, not very excited, and I think they're not excited only because everybody was dead set on Grey Knights.
They wanted Demons and Demons.
Yeah, comparison.
I think had those rumors not been from Valrax, he's always been correct, at least most of the time. I think without those, people would be psyched. But because their expectations were, I think they're disappointed. That's my take, because I think both teams look really, really cool. Like Goremongers, they're looking like everything I want to be in Kill Team. But my predictions is that I think we're just gonna. I wouldn't be expecting mainline stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they have shown us time and time again that like Ultramarines and Grey Knights and Tyranids. I think it's the way to introduce these weird units into 40k that also have their own identity in Kill Team. But like, remember we got Kroot and Breachers? Like, whoa, nobody's expecting that. Like a lot of teams like that. And so I suspect we're going to be continuing to get mostly like sort of these kind of fringe faction, elements, which I think can be cool if you just realize, okay, I'm not getting a Blood Angels Kill Team, like, whatever it is, or Tyranids or Custodes. Like, Custodes probably not coming if they're not here yet. Then I think if you just set your expectations.
Yeah, there'll be like a weird all grot team somewhere down the line, and it'll just be like, I mean, it would be cool. I'd take it.
I want Zotes.
God damn, I want Zotes.
Something if you're gonna go wacky,
man. I mean, something like that would be. You know what? It should be like flip open the old tome and be like, let's have like a Xenos race we've not seen for a while, like Zotes, like something weird like those weird jelly monsters, something like that. I mean, that'd be awesome. Like, that would be something extra. That's
probably one thing I'd say. I think you were right, Ben. Is the comparison of we thought it was going to be this. Like, we want Catachans versus Tyranids. We want Grey Knights versus Demons.
Jungle.
Like we've got in our mind, so we set these expectations. But then, like, it's also a thing. Yeah, I also being surprised is actually pretty cool. Like being like, whoa, where did that come from? Like so often when you get it and you go, we picked it, we got it right. There's also a little bit of disappointment in that because there's no surprise factor or no like, that was where did that come from? I said Kroot and Breaches. Yeah, at that time, that was like, where did that come from? Like, I want a bit more of that. I'm all right to keep us second guessing. Don't play it safe.
Give us some weird
I like
teams. Yeah. Exactly, and the corn versus the priests and everything, it just jumped right on us. They just dumped all those on us right away. That was really cool, but there was no build up or leaks or anything for that. So I mean,
it was a weird one, wasn't it?
A little bit of bummer for some people, but I mean, I'm all about corn. I like close combat, so that seems fun.
I think it's cool
a
team.
new race would be cool though. That would be my ultimate wrong foot. Like if they, as you
yeah.
said, Russ just drop and Matt
A
is
Sith.
Zotes or like what's the ones that were in the codex
Lizards.
that everyone got really excited about with the guys that got like those weird machine gun head things and something beginning with G, I think it was, but everyone got all excited. It's like, does that mean that's going to be a playable race? And I was just like, that would wrong foot a lot of people. I don't know how it would work because obviously so often these kill teams then just go into 40k once they're
I mean, as long as they're viable minis, like a slith team, like those weird snake guys from the dark. I keep calling them dark elves, the Drukhari. Yeah, come on, dark elves. But
I wouldn't mind the Blackstone Fortress team. Like, I think that was a missed opportunity. Like, I get it, they're a lot like Star Striders, but they have a lot of cool, unique models. Give us an Amble. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Baby,
I get to drop the robot out and this other guy, and I can take an Amble.
That's sick. Yeah, I said, and it's funny too. Like, I know as we saw with the Star Striders Galapox too. That's it. Like, so they've got the molds of the Blackstone Fortress. So like we know that I'm sure they've got some spare sprues out the back. All they got to do is make some rules, and they could roll that out pretty easily. And you could do a chaos and like
like
the
chaos
hero
suit,
faction of them too. You know what I mean? Like they've got like in that there's Beastmen, Rogue Psychers, what are the
Chaos Space Marines?
Chaos
Lord.
Blooded are basically in there.
The Blooded are basically there, aren't they?
That would be that would actually be very cool. Again, and the models are there, and they're cool models. They still hold up. They're great.
Yeah.
Do we think they're gonna preview more Kill Team stuff at Adepticon? Is that when the next big preview is?
I think we'll get rules for they'll probably give us rules for the 2 Blood and Zeal teams, I'd imagine.
Yeah, probably a continuation
of something.
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like
imagine that's what they're holding out for with because I was saying off air before. I'm like, I can't believe we haven't seen some sneak peeks into the rules. You've shown us the cool models, but maybe it's Adepticon they're waiting for to start rolling those out.
Well, we'll be there. I'll be excited to go preview it and check it out. And I don't know, it'll be a blast.
Yeah,
I'm excited for Adepticon, man. It's gonna be a fun time.
Awesome.
Ooh, Sandy says Mega Arachnids. I'd love to see some 30k stuff get back in.
What even is them? What's a Mega Arachnid?
I was gonna say they're like Necron Wraiths. They're like a weird. It's from 30k. It's from like the book 1 of 30k.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Like
1 or 2.
Planet, and they're like they get described as they kind of sound like Tyranids, but like a mix between Tyranids and some
that's
of
the Emperor's Children.
Stuff.
That's where the Emperor's Children were fighting. Oh, okay.
And what they're called the planet isn't the planet called
Murder.
Yeah.
I mean, but I forget the name of the people that were the people that discovered it then turn up and are like, what are you doing? There's warnings, and it's like, I can't remember what they're called, but that was book 1 or 2. Must have been 2.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I don't know.
All right,
real quick.
Oh, you're going
real quick. I know we're out of time. The Zotes, if they did bring in Zotes, so it's always about Zotes. Everything's always about Zotes.
I've been wanting Zotes for so long.
What faction would they tie those into 40k with?
Gene Stealers. The Gene Stealer cult they were emissaries of the Tyranids, weren't they?
Is it really?
They think they were sent. They were sent to go.
Wormblade going away. Wormblade going away.
It was back in the day when technically Squigs started off as Tyranids, and then they decided to retcon them and say they're now orcs. So I think they're kind of that time where they used to be emissaries that got sent before the Gene Stealers would then turn up and the Tyranids. So who knows? If they came back, they might just be like they're their own race. Someone says Tau. So maybe they'd be Tau. You know what? That could happen. They'd be like, roll them into Tau because they could speak. They were individually like sentient, which doesn't feel very Tyranidy now. So maybe, and they used to go apparently and be the ones that would be like introducing you to the idea that you were going to become biofuel, which is a weird, like, why would you? Like, how does that conversation go? We eat you? No, thanks. We eat you? We eat you now? No. I mean, please, like, I don't see that. What's the point? But, so maybe not. Maybe orcs.
Yeah. Well, we got Pathfinders going away. We got Wormblade going away. Maybe now is the time of the Zote.
I'd love that. I'd love a Zote.
We should start spreading the rumor We should just start spreading the rumor, like
echo chamber that we just.
Like, oh, this just in. This just in. All signs are pointing to Zote in the next
hot off the
box.
press. Did you see the Blood Bowl? They made a Blood Bowl Zote character, and I was ready. I was going to be like, I'm going to buy 3 of this guy and somehow turn this into a Zote team, and then just make Gelapox as my Zote team. It was going to be the plan.
Sweet.
I'd be like, it'll happen. Cool. Yeah, I might still do it. But then Gelapox are going, so what's the point?
Yeah, they're gone.
You should do it just in time to sell it, mate. It'll be fine.
I know. It would be a very expensive team. Like,
yeah, you convert it up, I'll buy it on eBay.
Yeah. Do you a good deal.
Deliver it?
Yeah.
Free of charge, obviously. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, we are on a little bit of a time limit today, so let's wrap it up there. I always love ending on a bit of theory crafting of all the fun things that are or aren't coming that we've definitely just made up. So, Matt, thank you so much for joining us. It was awesome having you on. Great for a chat, and great to see someone taking Ben's lunch money in Florida.
Thanks for having me on.
A huge thank you, as always, to the chat on both things. We're obviously, if you don't know, if you're listening on the podcast, we're now streaming obviously on Twitch, but also on YouTube as well. So you can now.
Oh, dang, I forgot.
Yeah, you can now join us live there as well. So thank you to everyone.
It's been
on YouTube as well. People have been joining in, and that obviously does mean too, if you like to watch back and you don't always like to listen to the podcast. It now means that these VODs go straight up onto our YouTube. So every episode will be there for you to watch back later if you so choose. So you can enjoy your Kill Team Casuals however you like to partake. Thank you again to Ben from Battle Brothers Tabletop, man leading the charge at Warpfire Gaming for our sponsorships.
Thank you very much to Russ from GFN. And by the way, checks in the mail. Checks for sure in the mail from Warpfire. Any day now from GFN Gaming.
For me, fantastic. Thanks very much, Ben. Back, I always forget how to do this. Back over to Reese from Threes to Wound.
I just wish by now you knew my name. That's really what it gets hard.
Yeah. Rice, yeah.
Just looks down and checks his notes.
Yeah, Richard.
Thank you, Spring. Yeah.
07's in the chat. Thank you again. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.
Later.
It's still up, Mark Russ.